So I'm back again. We're gonna continue with the series. I'm not gonna use too much time on her. That's probably what she want from me. If for me to use my energy, my time, my spiritual, yeah, I'm not gonna do it because she ain't paying me. But I'm just gonna tell you guys some of the things that stems in witchcraft, um, from family bloodlines, and you know how karma. We're gonna talk about when karma should return onto them. How karma should return onto them, because it does say that that's one thing that I used to read in the Bible, that one sows, they shall reap. And I don't feel like Betty has reaped what she sowed. I haven't heard of it at least happening. And so I want you guys to, hopefully some of y'all can agree with me that she got to start reaping the evil that she sowed. She hasn't done anything good. She's not a good person. So back to the thing about Betty. um Her mom started secretly comparing. I started sensing this in the spiritual realm, and knowing this, not even a sense, I know it, I'm sure of it, I'm confident that there's comparison, and there was some spirits being thrown my way for me to not be successful in my career, or to go to throw fiery darts or fiery arrows, as they say in Christianity, darts, at my career or at me, or to try to keep me from prospering over Betty, because Betty thinks she's a god herself and a queen, and all that, because people have, because of her temper and her being spoiled growing up and not really being held accountable by anyone, maybe some other cousins here and there, but they would still bless her and nourish her, and hang out with her. So they really didn't punish her at all. Like they didn't really hold her truly accountable to this day, not that I know of. But I would see it growing up. Like no one really held this woman accountable. I felt like she was a spoiled. It's not I felt, I know, because she would also be accused by other Kenyans of being a spoiled brat. A spoiled brat. It's similar to like a step sibling I have. I'm like, I never asked for a step sibling. I don't care for her. So I'd rather just be the only child. But these people, maybe sometimes their last born, it's like they're so spoiled. We know that. That's like a thing where the last born always like seem like the most spoiled one. They don't get held accountable, and we don't know if people in life teach them. We don't know if life teaches them along the way, because I told you we drifted apart. I'm not there, and I'm not in her personal life. So anyway, and I really don't care for her anyway as a person. So um there's this comparison, there's this thing where people, it's just interesting because the circle of these relatives and these people, aunts who are married to my uncles or whatever, there's always that thing where someone always got to know what I'm doing. Why you always got to know if I'm going to school? Why you always got to know what job I have, or where I'm working, what I'm driving? You see, that's part of witchcraft, because people are trying to keep tabs on you so they can know what you're doing. So when they do in their rooms and stuff, doing that voodoo, doing that stuff, they try to, like they put things on you, or they send things your way or whatever. I'm like, it's none of your business. So why aren't you serving God? So God put you on this earth to be able to do that? That stuff don't make no sense. And that's, in Christianity, we had to pray for people to continue to walk all over us, and pray to bless them. Bless them. Why? That enables them. Oh, you guys, it's just the contradictory that I experienced with Christianity. And then I'm gonna try not to cuss on this channel. It's gonna be hard, y'all gonna have to pray for me or something. And the crap that I had to endure with certain wicked family members, because David in the Bible, King David, he didn't tolerate none of it. When he wanted to get rid of an enemy, he got rid of him. And then the Bible had the nerve to say God is no respecter of person. So why he give that power to him? And I feel like I haven't been able to get that power or that manifestation. I would love to gut my enemies. I would love it. That's real talk. I would love to do what King David did to his enemies. All right. So things go on, and I told you just a few years. Me and her are not in each other's lives. I just hear about her progress, or I mean, not progress, but sometimes you just hear a little bit about her, what she's doing, her work. She had like a marketing job. I think she majored in journalism, which is my first major too. I got a second major, but and she went to graduate school. She got a master's degree in journalism, so she ended up doing marketing, which is interesting. And I don't know if she ever worked in journalism. Doesn't matter. That's not going to be on this video. But now let's pass forward to 2022. This is when her mom dies. Now, I told you we were close when we were growing up. I ate her mom's food. Her mom cooked, vice versa. All that thing. Um, Her mom passes, and then me and her dad, which is my uncle anyway, my mom's brother, who I would probably feel like growing up the closest to more so than the other two uncles. Uncle Simeon is okay. Uncle Simeon is my other uncle. He's decent. Uncle Ben, there's a time he helped me out too, which is the other one. That's the youngest one, actually. He's in the U.S. too, and he lives in Washington State, not Washington D.C. And he's okay, but over the past years, and he used to follow Christ too. And I think he led a lot of things in his life where he's not really following religion like he used to, or following the faith, and not really holding true to the values. So the last time I spent with him was in Kenya with Uncle Ben, and that was in 2017, very end of 2017 going into 2018, where we were visiting my grandma, which is my mom's mom, who also passed. So 2022 comes and Betty's mom passes away. So I was still ministry. So I was like, I told you guys in the previous video, I didn't know what to pray. I just asked this lady on the prayer line. I was already involved in this prayer line and would join during certain hours, certain days and stuff. And I already knew she was on the clock. And I just told her to pray because when she prayed, she moved in the spirit. And she prayed for her, and because her mom ended up brain dead 3 days, brain dead. And by the time I found out, I think she had already been in the hospital for at least a couple of days or so. And they live in Florida, okay, the uncle at that time. So I told her to pray for her, and I had no really expectation of anything. I kind of felt like it was already over with, like the book was sealed. The aunt is already going to pass. That's what I got in the spirit, and that's exactly what happened within a few days. So I came back and I texted my mom this text, and I'm like, oh, I remember. And I was just telling her how I remember Betty's mom. Okay, they didn't pull the plug yet or anything or make any decisions, but she was still brain dead on the hospital. Okay, and so I just write, a memory of like, how you would when someone passes, you write a memory of how you remember that person. And that's what I was like. I was like, oh, I remember she's very punctual, very disciplined, blah blah blah. And I just wrote my little brief testimony of her. So I kind of ended it with that, and then we text message back and forth some other things during the days to come. And this is the part that I hate what people do when you come into the faith in Christ, or when you come into this religion, especially this one. People expect you to do everything for them, like to tell them what to do, tell them what decision to make. I'm like, you can see, okay, so if God is real and Jesus is real, you can seek Jesus for yourself. You don't have to depend on me to do it. Because how do you know my relationship, my walk with him? It may not always be like as you think. And not only that, I may not always be in the sphere or mindset to care. You know what I mean? At this time, I did care, but I'm just saying in general. So it's like this thing to depend on me, because I was operating in like prophetic gifting and stuff like that, to to see if I'm going to tell them to pull the plug. I'm like, I'm not doing that. You're not putting that responsibility on me. First of all, I haven't even really known this woman for some years. Yeah, we were closer when we were younger. I really didn't know the mom like that. We didn't have like an intimate relationship. I wouldn't go around saying like, oh, me and my aunt like this and this. Now, there was a time where Betty's mom, during the recession, when Obama first came into office, how there was a session in 2008, where there's a time, and I was just graduating from my first degree, there was a time where she was in Florida. She was established with my uncle. And she did offer, it's like, why don't you come live with us? And I thought she was playing. I was like, because you don't expect that from someone who said, oh, you'll make your own money. Like, they didn't really want to, you know what I mean? As I told you how she commented in the previous video when we went to Napa, I just didn't expect that kind of invitation. And I almost was tempted to take it, but then I ended up staying with Uncle Ben and moving to Washington later on, which I I might talk about that. I don't know if I'll talk about that journey though. So anyway, I ended up you know, um, just giving my little review, testimony of how I used to know her. The last time I saw my aunt was in Kenya when we had this big old reunion where everybody went to Kenya. When I went to Kenya, it was just interesting because I knew that was the last time that there's certain people I would see, and it actually came true. So what happened is, um, that lady did pray. She prayed, very boldly and stuff like that, and I felt she did move something in the spirit. But my mom ended up making because my mom felt like very close to the aunt Betty's mom, because they helped us when we came to the U.S. and all that, and they just knew each other forever, even probably before I was born. And so Betty's a little bit older, less, probably like a year, maybe a little less than a year older than me. And her mom, my mom made the decision to pull the plug, which I think is kind of odd because, like, her husband's right there, my uncle's right there. It's like, why can't he make that decision? Which is weird, you know what I mean? But I guess they gave that because my mom is a nurse. So it's like they gave that responsibility to her. So she made that decision. And that scared me from my mom, because it's like, you don't feel uncomfortable doing that, like making that kind of decision. And you're not really directly like over them. You know what I mean? Like the daughter could have made that decision. Um, Actually, I wouldn't even want the daughter to make that decision. But like the older one, Nathan, could have made that decision. He's more respectable anyway. You know what I mean? And so I don't know. I just think it was weird. It was a interesting situation. I didn't feel too many funny things in the spirit. I felt like maybe she went to heaven, but then to this day I don't know if I'm very sure of that. If heaven exists, at that time I thought she probably just passed. God have mercy on her, and all that. But I will say this: just a few months before this news came up with Betty's mom, I was meditating in the spirit, and I heard the voice say, like, that big voice, that big small still voice, say that I will take one of your aunts. So when this came, it like fulfilled that prophecy. I will take your aunt from you. That's what it said. Okay? So now I know there is no expectation for me to reach out to Betty. I just didn't care to. I'm like, go through it. Like, I mean, whatever, that's you guys' issue now. Like, okay, like, because now you're reaching out to me, and now you're trying to like put those spirits where we were tight together back in the day. So you do the work. Why can't her own daughter pray for her own mom? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I did my part. And so it's this thing where her daughter didn't even do the thing she was supposed to do. I was the one. I'm not even the daughter of her aunt, but I was the one who had to have someone to intercede. Her daughter couldn't do that, even if she doesn't believe or whatever. Her mom is in the hospital. Her mom's about to pass. And anyway, she ended up passing. And I was like, I can't attend the funeral. I had no desire at all to attend a funeral or funeral service or whatever. It would have been in the Bay Area, which it was held there. But I just didn't feel called to. And I didn't want to connect with her sisters and stuff and all that family, because they are known for doing a lot of dark things in the spirit realm. Okay. How long is this video? This video is already 8 minutes long or so. I think I'm going to cut it off here, but I'm just telling you the spiritual aspects of people, especially when you come into the faith of Christ, how they expect all this stuff from you, and they don't want to ever be held accountable or do their part themselves. My mom said that she used to want to be a gospel singer, but and she started, and she is right in a way where as I got older, and sometimes people would tug me to do Christianity or whatever, like evangelists or people from church or whatever, and she would say they're all like they're hypocrites. So whatever, I've experienced a lot of hypocrites myself, so I can't really disagree with that statement. I don't know if I could say all, because I haven't known all Christians. You would have to go around the whole world to know all Christians, so it's silly to kind of categorize like that. But she didn't want to serve her, and my mom is also one of those very stubborn hearted people, hard hearted people, hard-headed people where she does things her way, and she always feel like I realize now as older that she was always really controlling, always trying to control things, control people's relationships. And then when she brought the monster stepsister into this world, through the stepdad, because that's what he produces monsters. I mean, his older daughter couldn't even help him when he was in a time of need. Neither she could this younger one. And I'm going to talk about that in a separate video. It's really sad. It's a shame. It's nasty. But she remarried. She did her own thing. She did what she wanted because she felt victimized, or she felt like entitled to, just because she was a widow. You know, my dad passed, my biological dad, when I was a baby. And so she brought me from the Kenya. She didn't have to, y'all, because she had a good job in Kenya. She had a good secretary job. She didn't want to serve the Lord. So when I came to the Lord, or when I came to Jesus, or the faith in Christ, she did all types of spiritual stuff to try to, to stop me, to do whatever, to attack me. And she also used, or combined with the stepdaughter, which is a very evil one. I mean, these are the type of people you read about in the Bible, and they live a premature life. Their life is cut off quickly because of their evil and constant wickedness. And I felt like this should happen to her. I'm sorry, but like I hope something, I hope there's true justice and recompense against this woman. This woman is not the type of person you want. I'm talking about the step sibling, the younger one. Not only is she rotten, spoiled, but you don't want her in your household. You don't want her in your household. You don't even want her to visit at your table. She's one of those people. Um, Unless you want some horrible things to go wrong in your life. She's one of those who carry even when she was born, I sensed something very horrible and evil in her. I'm telling you, and I was a child. I didn't know anything about spirit realm. So I'm letting you guys know these things because when we're a child, or when we're growing up, a lot of us probably don't know anything about the spiritual realm, how it works. We don't know about Christianity. We don't know about witchcraft. We don't know about any of it. We're just a kind of like a victim to it until our eyes are open to the spiritual realm at some point in our life. Anyway, I'm gonna end this video with this because it is so sad how Betty couldn't a you do things in the spirit for her own mom, and if she did, we didn't hear about it. We didn't see nothing happen. And then B, for me to have to use my so-called, in Christianity they say your anointing. I didn't do the prayers, but the lady did the prayers. I could have used those prayers for myself. About my aunt who was in the hospital. And so it's just how she was in the background trying to probably playing as a victim. And it's like, you're not a victim. We don't know if Betty sacrificed her mom. I have a feeling she did. And at this time, I was also sensing something about my uncle, and I'll tell you guys why, because I just found out today that he's remarrying. He's planning to remarry in Kenya and have the wedding in Kenya. But at that time, when she passed, yeah, he sounded like he was mourning, like the Bible says, only God or a higher power knows the heart of men, but the heart of men is inherently wicked. That I agree with. It's inherently wicked. So people can pretend they can mourn. And at that time, I did feel a lot of remorse for him, and I comforted him and used all these words, which now sometimes I kind of regret doing. I kind of regret comforting him because he might have abused it in the spirit. We don't know how spiritual he is. Okay, we know that he really, when his wife used to talk about Jesus, he wasn't really following that. I mean, he probably believed a little bit, but he was doing his own thing. He was only caring about his education and getting a good job and doing all this stuff with his houses, his properties, and you know what I mean, which he has until today. But at that time, I did comfort him, and I felt like kind of a connection, like uncle to niece at that time. And he felt like welcoming. I'm not gonna lie. But it's like, what happened to all those other years though? I mean, y'all would be in the Bay Area, y'all wouldn't contact me, nothing. I mean, I probably wouldn't even gone. I was busy in the Bay Area anyway, and I was trying to look for other connections, which I did find. But it's like, because sometimes you just want, if you drift away from people, whether it's family, cousins, whatever, then you drift away. That's what it is. You can't force someone to want a relationship, and I wouldn't force Betty to want a relationship, because I hear people say now, even as an adult, that she has become like her aunt Waidera, which who is known to be kind of like a nasty, crazy person. So and so um I just felt like I spoke maybe a little bit too much to him, because now he's remarrying. And when I spoke to him, I kind of sensed something was up in the air about him possibly having another woman on the side. But again, we don't know. My aunt passed from natural causes. She passed from sickness. She got sick and stuff. Um, but him and having another woman on the side, even before her passing, I just wouldn't be surprised, because now he's getting married. And to me, that's kind of quick. She only passed in 2022. So I'm just telling you, there's witchcraft all over these people, and all over, the aunts, that which are the sisters to my to the aunt that passed away. Her name was Aunt Anne. We call her Anne. That's her name, and that's the one she passed away. Now, Anne, the Aunt Anne, had two sisters called Waidera and Mary, and they are still in the Bay Area, as I know, or the last time I heard. And they're not known to be like really good people either. They're also known to be witches and sorcerers. Mary came to the U.S. talking about Jesus and truly believing, but she also fell away, and she is doing like a lot of sorcery. The last time I heard, the last many times I've heard, and she even admitted it. But I'll talk about these things and how they manifest, and how people throw things, and there's a time where it has to be recompensed and thrown back onto them, and karma onto them. So we'll talk about different things relating to these family um, sorceries, family things that are going on within relatives, marriages, bloodlines, you name it. See you guys.